There are many Native American legends surrounding Mount Shasta, but the legend we're going to discuss tonight is quite different. And that is the legend of J.C. Brown and the Lost City. Now, according to legend, J.C. Brown was a British prospector who discovered a lost underground city beneath Mount Shasta in 1904. Brown had been hired by the Lord Cowdray Mining Company of England to prospect for gold and discovered a cave which sloped downward for 11 miles. And in the cave, he found an underground village filled with gold, shields, and mummies, some being 10 feet tall. And 30 years later, he told his story to John C. Root, who proceeded to gather an exploration team in Stockton, California. 80 people joined the team. But on the day the team was set to go out, Brown didn't show up. And Brown was never heard from again. Now, many of Mount Shasta's strangest tales have yet to be told. Ancient Native American legends speak of a fallen race of prehistoric giants who once inhabited the Pacific coast of North America. And according to the legend, their civilization was destroyed by a great flood. And in the early 20th century, a treasure hunter prospecting on the Mount Shasta region claimed to have found evidence suggesting that the offspring of the Anunnaki, also known as the Watchers or the Nephilim, may have reached the shores of North America in a remote prehistoric era. But before he could reveal the location of their lost civilization, the man mysteriously vanished. Could this legend be true? Tonight we're going to discuss the legend of J.C. Brown, and there's very limited information. But it begins like this. In 1904, a geologist and treasure hunter who went by the name of J.C. Brown was hired by a mining syndicate to prospect for gold somewhere in the Cascades of Northern California. During Brown's explorations of the wilderness, he claimed to come across a rockfall at the base of a cliff. He suspected that something may be buried underneath of it and set about clearing away the rubble. Hidden beneath the rockfall, Brown described unearthing a mysterious tunnel of unusual dimensions. A passage 10 feet high and 7 feet wide, curved downwards into the interior of the earth. Deep underground, Brown described encountering a weird array of primitive machinery, which he attributed to a subterranean mining operation, and also an unusual cache of gold treasures and relics belonging to an unknown people who inhabited California in ancient times. Among the treasures Brown claimed to have found, he described as golden tablets and plates, all neatly inscribed with strange hieroglyphics and cuneiform writing. Brown also found unusual tempered copper spears fashioned out of a memory metal alloy, which remembered its shape so that the spear could be bent to the point where the head of the weapon touched the base of the shaft, whereupon it would morph back to its original state. Brown then also began to describe a worship room containing statues that eerily glowed in the dark, an iconography depicting solar symbols and unconventional crosses, not of a modern type, but suggestive of a Mediterranean origin. In another chamber, he counted 27 giant skeletons laid out at angles to the walls, the smallest of which was 6 feet 6 inches, and the tallest more than 10 feet in height. In another chamber lay the bodies of a man and a woman dressed in royal robes, apparently embalmed and mummified by some secret process. Brown believed them to be the king and queen of a lost race of prehistoric giants. After re-emerging to the surface, Brown reburied the tunnel, and the next decades of his life are still shrouded in mystery. He is believed to have returned to the site periodically over the years, but became increasingly paranoid and secretive. He claimed close family members and friends he shared his secret with attempted to betray him, and all of them succumbed to a deadly curse and died in freak accidents and unnatural deaths. Fascinating. Now, during the following years, Brown became obsessed with James Churchward's books on the lost continent of Mu, circa 1926 to 35, and was fascinated with the theories about Lemuria, which were beginning to gain a foothold in California and the Mount Shasta region. Fueled by an intense public fascination with spirituality and occultism promoted by a theosophical society, Brown became assured that he had discovered evidence of a lost race of prehistoric giants who inhabited California in ancient times and who were destroyed in a catastrophic flood. He believed that he had found the lost link in the story of civilization. And at the age of 79, in 1934, J.C. Brown turned up in Stockton, California, to raise a party of explorers to return him to the site of the Giant's tunnels and catalog the treasure trove of fabulous relics therein. Now, the size of his party quickly grew to 80 in number, but on the night before they were to depart on the expedition, J.C. Brown mysteriously vanished. Members of Brown's expedition suspected foul play and feared that their leader may have been kidnapped. The police were called in to investigate, but could find no cause or reason for Brown's weird disappearance being a hoax. In fact, he never accepted any money from any of the members of his party. In fact, J.C. Brown appeared to be the last person to succumb to the treasure's deadly curse. Ever since he discovered the Giant's Tunnel, the whole ordeal brought him nothing but trouble. Nobody ever saw or heard of J.C. Brown ever again. And that's a boom to knowledge. Now, this may be just legend, but there's also hints of a conspiracy and a cover-up here. Where did J.C. Brown go after he emerged decades later in hiding? To pinpoint the area that he found decades before and to reveal the knowledge he was hiding. Who has control of that information now? Please leave me your thoughts below. Tell me if you enjoyed this content and we'll provide more of it. Become a Patreon, support the work we do. We love you. Be safe. That's a boom.